Praise the Lord, everyone. Brother Roop here, going through the book of Acts, verse by verse. We're looking at Acts chapter 18, verse 6. Now, if you're my subscriber, thank you very much. God bless you. I hope I have hope you can profit from these videos. If you like these little short videos, go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell. So we are in the book of Acts, chapter 18, verse 6. Verse 6. Now, verse 5, as if you saw the previous video, Paul and the Jews were arguing back and forth. Paul was preaching the gospel, trying to show the Jews that Jesus was the Messiah. That was a hard sell to this group of Jews because they stood up against Paul. Things they argued back. And apparently that was very frustrating for Paul, as you can well imagine. Throughout the book of Acts, Paul would go to a town, preach that Jesus was the Messiah in the synagogue. Then he would go to the Gentiles in the marketplace, start gathering followers, and then the Jews would get jealous and run him out of town. This happened over and over again. And so now the Jews are here disputing with him, arguing with him that Jesus was not the Messiah. So you got to understand the whole context. Paul didn't get frustrated here in this one verse, this one moment in time. It was built up over time. So let's read the verse 18:6. It says, "And when they opposed themselves and blasphemed, he shook his remnant and said unto them, Your blood be upon your own heads. I am clean. From henceforth I will go unto the Gentiles." Pretty important statement. Now in the Aramaic it says that he shook his garments and said unto them, From now on I am clean. I take myself to the Gentiles. So the Aramaic kind of leaves out the first part of this verse. And that's a connecting verse, connecting 5 and 6 together. So not only did they oppose Paul, but they started blaspheming. And that's probably what set Paul off, when they started to blaspheme God, just blaspheme Jesus. And we don't know what words they said or how they said it. We just know that these probably ridiculed the gospel in some way. Apostle Luke, the author of Acts, does not tell us. He just says that they start to blaspheme. So that's probably what triggered Paul here, Apostle Paul. So Paul shook his garments. He says, I am clean. I have preached the gospel to you. I have preached God's message that Jesus is the Messiah. I am clean. Your blood is upon your heads. You rejected the gospel. You rejected Jesus as the Messiah. Your blood is upon your head. I am clean. I tried to reason with you. But you disputed. You came against me and you blasphemed. So Paul's frustrated not because of this one moment in time, this one conversation or argument with these Jews, but the whole history of the Jews running Paul off from town to town, hiring mobs to chase him away. And some were even chasing him from town to town, getting the authorities, or trying to get the authorities to arrest him. And we see what they did with Jason many verses ago. They beat Jason up when they couldn't find Paul. And they actually arrested Jason. Jason had to put forth bail to get out of jail. So this is a built-up thing. This has just happened here at this moment in time. Paul is slowly getting frustrated over time of the behavior of the Jews. The Jews not only are rejecting the gospel, but they are physically chasing Paul away, sometimes stoning him, getting violent. And now they are blaspheming God, blaspheming Jesus. And Paul just had enough. He says, okay, your blood's on your head. Now I'm going to the Gentiles, because the Gentiles were receptive. The Gentiles were receptive of the gospel. They were accepting the gospel in droves. In no time, Paul would have a whole church organized. He would put a pastor with that group, and then Paul would move on. Because Paul was an evangelist, he wasn't a pastor. So, but people like Silas and Timothy, those kind of folks were pastors. Paul was an evangelist. That's the difference. So the Gentiles were receptive. So Paul says, okay, I've had enough banging my head against the wall here. I'm going to the Gentiles, where the gospel is received. So this is an important part of scriptural history, or the history of Christianity, early Christianity. Paul here now will start concentrating on the Gentiles and teaching the Gentiles, and not so much with the Jews. I don't think he washed his hands completely, but his most of his time now will be with the Gentiles. Thank you, and God bless you. If you have any comments, put them down in the comments section. Thank you, and God bless you.